I just want to welcome the PM to King Vaughan. All right, King Vaughan. Welcome him to our supporter and volunteer backyard barbecue. Thank you for joining us. And I am really, really delighted to be standing on the stage with my two colleagues from Vaughan, Francesco Sobera from Vaughan Woodbridge. Woo! And Gary Gladstone from Thornhill. Give us a shout out. Thank you to both of you being here. The powerhouse in Vaughan is quite evident from what's up here on the stage. So I just wanted to say thank you to Asif and Reza for letting us all invade their backyard for this amazing barbecue. It's just thank you. And thank you to the hard workers out there that are getting the food ready after the event so we can all have a nice lunch. I also want to say thank you to all of you. I could not do it here in this riding without the love and the support and the dedication every single minute that you've been pouring out for me in the last 5 weeks has just empowered me. It has given me the strength to get through a very difficult time. Many of you know what I'm dealing with. I couldn't do it without you. We couldn't win without you, and we are going to win. But the other person that I want to recognize is I want to recognize our leader, the Prime Minister. A couple things I want to thank him personally. I want to thank him for giving me the privilege to serve around the cabinet table as a Minister of Seniors. It has been an incredible gift and an opportunity, and I'm so grateful. And he is a true feminist, all right? Don't let anyone say otherwise. And I would know, he listens to us. He welcomes all of us around the cabinet table. I truly feel equal, and I am very empowered by his type of leadership, which is just what we need in this country. So that's the feminist. He is also very dedicated to the Indigenous issue of reconciliation. He has given more than any Prime Minister in the past has ever given to try to work this. We have to do more, and we have to do it faster, but we have been dedicated to this task. He's got 2 ministers working this because he knows how hard this is and how much work it is, and we have 2 amazing people in Carolyn Bennett and Mark Miller. I'm honored to serve with them and the dedication they bring to their roles for Indigenous people, and we have a lot to do, but we are moving forward with much dedication and funding, which is really what needs to make a change. The other thing that's very important, the Prime Minister has said, we cannot move this country forward thinking of trickle-down economics. We have to make sure every single person in this country has a fair shake at a good life and has a fair shake at a good pension at the end of it. And we know that that means that we have to step up with social programs that really count, like $10 a day childcare. And I don't want to take the momentum from the Prime Minister. But it's also about more spaces, and we have the plan. We've done the research. We know what we need to do, and we've brought through an amazing plan. And the last thing I want to say before I give it over to him, you know, a lot of you know that I am very dedicated to the environment. It is the existential threat of our time, and we need to move faster, and we need to do more. We have the Prime Minister that's put the right people in place to create the plan and put the fundamentals in place so we can get there, and I just want to thank him for that. And now I want to turn it over because we're all here for the Prime Minister, and I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. What a pleasure to be here today in King Vaughan. Asif, thank you so much for welcoming us to this beautiful community. It's always a pleasure to be back. I am jealous of all the lovely afternoon you guys are going to have here today with hot dogs and friends. But I know you need to build up your energies because tomorrow we're getting out the vote. You are working very hard all day. I want to recognize Francesco Sobera and Gary Gladstone, 2 extraordinary members of our team who are continuing to make sure that we give the right choice to Canadians to keep moving forward for everyone. But I do want to make a moment to pause on Deb, your extraordinary, extraordinary MP and candidate here. You know, I have been incredibly privileged over the past 6 years to serve around an extraordinary, diverse cabinet table with people who come from all sorts of different backgrounds, with all sorts of different perspectives, all of us aligned in our values and our desire to build a better future for all Canadians. And I'll tell you, of all those different voices, Deb, as an engineer, as a thoughtful, value-driven leader, someone who connects with her community, someone who always has the challenging questions about everything we put forward, is an unbelievably important voice, not just for King Vaughan, but for all Canadians. So thank you for all your leadership, Deb. And we need you back. So I'm counting on all of you. And the other thing to reflect on, Deb mentioned this, we've all had a really difficult past 18 months. We've all struggled with this pandemic, with various sacrifices, with challenges, with grief, with incredibly difficult times. But you all know that Deb had an extra layer of challenges on top of that, and that's why I want to thank you so directly, all of you, my friends, for stepping up, for being there, for supporting her, and being able to see all of us standing here so strongly because of this woman and her strength and determination right now today. Because, my friends, Canada is today at a crossroads, at a moment where we have to make a really important choice, not just about what we're going to do in the coming months to end this pandemic for good, but also how we're going to stay true to our values and meet the challenges of the future with the same level of ambition and devotion to each other that we showed as Canadians every day through the past 18 months. That's the choice we get to make right now. And quite frankly, from seeing the different perspectives, the different plans put forward during this past election campaign, Canadians can see that there are very different ideas about how we move forward, how we support people, how we learn the lessons of this pandemic and apply them to the next challenges and crises we all have to do. And on that, there's a choice of both leadership and there's a choice around ideas. On leadership, we know that the only way through this pandemic is to respect science, to make sure people get vaccinated, and to stand up every day for those close to 80% of Canadians who did the right things, who gotten vaccinated, who wear a mask, who keep their distances, and have demonstrated that they are there not just for themselves, not just for their loved ones, but for their community and our economy. That's the choice we need to make. And on leadership, one of the basic tenets of leadership is if you're a leader, you should be able to have the people who work with you follow you. And yet Erin O'Toole can't do that. He can't even make his own candidates choose to get vaccinated. And worse than that, he's asked those among them who have gotten vaccinated to not tell anyone that they did the right thing and got vaccinated because he's worried about embarrassing the anti-vaxxers in his party. While Erin O'Toole chooses to stand up for the rights of those who don't choose to do the right thing and get vaccinated, we're going to stand up for your rights to be safe, for your rights to keep your kids safe on a plane or on a train, for your rights to get back to the things you love, whether it's restaurants or gyms or movie theaters through vaccine passports that we're going to pay for at the provinces. We're going to make sure that every step of the way we keep you safe because we know how much you have sacrificed over the past many months, what you have done to get to this point, to get back to the things you love, and you know we need to keep our littlest kids safe who can't yet get vaccinated. We need to prevent from seeing further shutdowns in our communities like they're seeing, unfortunately, in Alberta right now. And we need to move forward to get back to a growing economy as quickly as possible. And the only way to do that is to lead on vaccinations. So he can't lead on vaccinations. But not leading on vaccinations also means he's not leading on the economy. doesn't understand that the best way to build this economy is, first of all, to be there for each other, and secondly, to make sure we're getting through this pandemic. On being there for each other, we stepped up as a government, just like Canadians stepped up, and we had each other's backs. We moved forward with the CERB, with the wage subsidy, with the rent subsidy, with supports for families, with supports for business owners like Toby, who's in construction here in King Vaughan, who needed that wage subsidy and various supports to keep people on the job through this pandemic. Those are the things we did, and we did them not just because they were the right thing to do, but because they were also the smart thing to do. You can't bring back a strong economy quickly if you are not making sure that there's something to bring back, that you're not making sure that families can continue to pay their rent and put groceries on the table even if they don't have a job, that communities can continue to have thriving main streets and small businesses that were able to hold on through the difficult time of the pandemic and now come roaring back stronger than ever. Mr. O'Toole doesn't understand that. And we do. That's why this country has recovered 95% of all the jobs lost during the pandemic. But we have more to do. Mr. O'Toole doesn't understand the economy because he doesn't understand that you need to support the people in the economy. He doesn't understand the economy because he doesn't understand that you have to lead on vaccines if we're going to bounce back quicker. He also doesn't understand the economy because he doesn't get that one of the best ways to grow our economy quickly and better is to make sure that families have $10 a day childcare so women can have all the choices to get back into the workforce. Again, he's putting forward the wrong plan for Canada. And all of you are here today because you want to make the right choice, and you are here to convince others to make the right choice. Because of all the different challenges, and Deb spoke about this one, the challenge of climate change is both an existential one, a community one, but also an economic one. You cannot, and Mr. O'Toole, you're wrong on this one too, you cannot have a plan for the future of the economy and jobs if you don't have a plan to fight climate change. And we do. So this is the moment in the campaign where people across the country are wondering, as progressives, which way should we vote? Because, let's be honest, there's a number of progressive parties out there, and people who want to stop Stephen Harper or Erin O'Toole know that the Liberal Party is the only party that can stop Mr. O'Toole. But at the same time, you all have cousins or neighbors or friends or folks you know who say, yes, I know the Liberals are the only ones that can prevent a Conservative government, but I really wanted to vote for the party with the best economic plan, the best plan to stand up for workers, the best plan to continue to fight climate change, the best plan with the most ambition to make keep Canada moving forward as a progressive country. And people say, I know I should vote Liberal to stop the Conservatives, but I want to vote for the most progressive ambition at the same time. Well, guess what you can tell them? In this election, both of those options are the same party, the Liberal Party of Canada. We put together the best environmental plan this country has ever seen, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can look at the very top climate scientists and policymakers across the country who gave our plan an 8 out of 10. People like Andrew Weaver, who's the former Green Party leader in British Columbia, saying we have the best plan. He came out and endorsed us. Top scientists and thinkers from across the country have said this is the plan Canada needs to move forward, and that is on the ballot. That is the choice you guys can make. We can make sure that we're keeping moving forward on $10 a day childcare right across the country, including here in Ontario, which is going to save families thousands and thousands of dollars every year. We can choose to move forward on continuing to stand up unequivocally for women's rights and make sure we keep assault weapons illegal, unlike Mr. O'Toole, who wants to bring them back. That's not what Canada needs. We need to move forward. Et la clé, La clé pour aller de l'avant, la clé pour avancer ensemble, c'est de s'assurer de faire le bon choix progressiste dans cette élection. De voter pour le climat, de voter pour les familles, de voter pour en finir pour de bon avec cette pandémie. Before we can get to anything else, we need to end this pandemic for good. And on that choice, the only choice is to move forward by going to vote Liberal. Merci beaucoup, mes amis. Thank you all. King Vaughan, I'm counting on you. Merci.